Self-esteem. We hear that word thrown around all the time, right? But what does it really, truly mean? Is it just something you're born with, or is it something you have to build? Well, we're going to dive right into that because today we're looking at a super powerful, action-based framework that might just flip everything you thought you knew about it. So let's kick things off with a big question. Is your self-esteem earned, or is it just given to you? I think for a lot of us, we think of it as a feeling, You either wake up feeling good about yourself or you don't. But what if there's way more to it than that? What if that's not even close to the whole story? And this right here, this really gets to the heart of a huge misconception. On one side, you have the myth that it's just a passive feeling, something that happens to you. But the truth? Well, according to psychologist Nathaniel Branden, it's an active practice. It's something you do. It's not about sitting around and waiting for confidence to strike like lightning. No, it's about getting your hands dirty and building it piece by piece. Okay, so if it's a practice, what exactly are we practicing? We've got to move beyond just the buzzword here and actually redefine what this whole thing is all about. So here's the core definition, and it's pretty powerful. Self-esteem is really a combination of two things. First, you've got your belief in your own ability to handle what life throws at you. That's your sense of competence. And second, you've got the belief that you are actually worthy of happiness and success. That's your self-respect. So you can think of it as competence plus worthiness. That's the magic formula. And I absolutely love this quote because it reframes the entire idea. Just think about it for a second. A reputation? That's something you earn through consistent action, right? Well, self-esteem is nothing more than the reputation you build with yourself. It's about living in a way that makes you someone you can genuinely look at and say, yeah, I trust that person. I admire that person. So why should you even care about this? Why does it matter so much? Well, because when you have that strong internal reputation, you become more resilient. You can bounce back when things get tough. You become more creative because you're not terrified of failing. And you can show up more authentically, as your real self, in your relationships, at work, everywhere. It's literally the foundation for almost everything we're chasing in life. All right, so the big question is, how do we actually build it? Branden lays it all out with 6 core pillars or practices. Let's get into the first 2, which are all about creating a foundation of awareness. Pillar number 1 is the practice of living consciously. And this is a big one. It's basically a commitment to being aware of reality, what's happening outside of you, and what's happening inside of you. It's about making a choice to see things as they actually are, not how you wish they were. It's the opposite of denial. This really means paying attention, especially to those truths that make us a little uncomfortable. And here's a super simple but incredibly powerful way to practice this. Get out a journal every day and just ask yourself this one question. What am I pretending not to notice? Oof, that question doesn't let you hide. It forces you to look reality straight in the eye. Now, once you have that awareness, you can move on to pillar number 2, the practice of self-acceptance. And listen, this is not about giving up or just being passive. It's about owning all the parts of yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and accepting them without judging or rejecting yourself. The whole idea here is to embrace every part of yourself, the good, the bad, the stuff you're proud of, the stuff you're not. And for a really practical action step, try this. Every day, write down one weakness and one strength. But here's the key. You have to acknowledge both with compassion, not with judgment. This simple little habit starts to turn you into your own best ally instead of your own worst enemy. Okay, so once you've laid that foundation of awareness and acceptance, you're ready for the next 2 pillars. These are the ones that create the framework for action. Up next, pillar number 3, the practice of self-responsibility. This one's about understanding that you are the author of your choices and actions. It's this deep realization that nobody is coming to save you. You and you alone are responsible for going after what you want in life. This is all about taking back control. And here's a fantastic way to practice it. Start reframing your language. Anytime you catch yourself saying something like, they made me feel, or I had to do this, stop and consciously replace it with, I chose to. It seems like a tiny change, but that simple shift can pull you right out of a victim mindset and into a place of empowerment. And that leads us perfectly into pillar number 4, the practice of self-assertiveness. This is all about honoring your own wants, needs, and values, and then finding healthy ways to express them in the real world. It's really just about showing up as who you truly are. Now, this isn't about being a jerk or being aggressive, not at all. It's about being authentic while still being respectful. A great way to practice this is to challenge yourself each week to share just one honest opinion that you would normally keep to yourself out of fear. You got to think of it like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. All right, let's bring it home with the final 2 pillars. These are the ones that really integrate everything we've been talking about and weave it into the very fabric of your character. Pillar number 5 is the practice of living purposefully. So what does that mean? It means using your skills and your talents to actually achieve the goals you've chosen for yourself. It's the difference between living with intention and just kind of drifting through life, reacting to whatever happens. And look, purpose doesn't have to be this huge, mysterious, grand thing. The action here is super practical, just to find one clear short-term goal and one long-term goal. That's it. Then break them down into small, weekly steps you can actually take. That's how you make purpose a real part of your everyday life. And finally, we have the pillar that ties this whole thing together. Number 6, the practice of personal integrity. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's about making sure your actions line up with your ideals, your beliefs, your standards. It's simply about walking your talk. Really, this all comes down to one thing: consistency. Is there a match between what you say you value and what you actually do? And the practice for this one? It's simple but profound. First, identify your top 3 values. Then, every single night, just take a quiet moment to reflect and ask yourself, did my actions today align with these values? So there you have it, the whole shebang, the 6 pillars all laid out. You start with living consciously and self-acceptance. Then you build with self-responsibility and self-assertiveness. And you bring it all together with living purposefully and personal integrity. As you can see, these aren't just fuzzy, abstract ideas, right? They are concrete, daily practices designed to help you build that solid, unshakable reputation with yourself. So after all that, what's the one big thing to take away from this? It's this: self-esteem isn't something you just find one day. It's not something you can wait around for. It is something you earn. You earn it one conscious choice, one small action at a time, every single day. And that brings us to one final, very personal question for you. When you look at this framework, remember, it's not about trying to do everything all at once. That's overwhelming. It's just about starting somewhere. So take a look. Which one of these pillars are you going to start practicing today?